it's just like Jack Reacher's so cool. I mean, he will kill you until you die from it.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike and he's Jay, and we just saw Jack Reacher. Guys, this is based on the Lee Child books, I think it is, and I read one of them once actually. I borrowed it from my dad and I read it on family vacation. I was like,
Top to bottom, left to right, put the words together, getting sentenced. I didn't know you could read.
But there's lots of novels, and now I kind of want to go back and read them after watching this, but that's neither here nor there. What I really loved about this movie is Tom Cruise is a badass.
He is awesome.
Tom Cruise is a badass, and I know a lot of people had a problem. Like I said, he's 5'10", and he wasn't, you know, and Jack Reacher's supposed to be like 6 foot something, and supposed to be this big, huge guy. But Tom Cruise pulls it off, man. And
Tom
you know
Cruise
what?
is shit.
I'm 5'10". I don't have a problem with that.
I like
That's
it.
awesome. It makes me feel badass when I'm walking around.
Well, I'm 6'3",
with
so
my flannel shirt and my Goodwill undershirt.
look like Bob Vila.
But no, like Tom Cruise just makes this entire movie.
Well, it's not going to make a difference. I mean, the way they shoot it in camera, he doesn't look like he's short.
It's kind of like Tom Hardy as Bane, you know, the way they shot him, he looked
Yeah.
a lot bigger, because Bane in the comics was like gigantic.
Yeah.
I mean, he just freaking oozes badassness.
Yeah.
This entire movie.
Yeah, he's like a drifter, like Kung Fu man. Like, he can do all this crazy. He's like a badass expert, a martial artist. He's not really a martial artist, but hand-to-hand combatant, and he can dig up. He's got like the best one-liners. He's really. I was thinking this when I was watching. He is like what Matt Damon in Finding Forrester would be if he could fight. Like, that's exactly what it was. he says all these little quips and lines, and it's like, and he's smart, and then he can just kick ass too. I don't know.
You mean Good Will Hunting?
That's what I meant. So yeah, I honestly with this movie, I think that it's everything that Alex Cross, the shitty one with Medea, wanted to be, but it couldn't live up to it. And even then, this movie, it's like if you weigh it out, like action suspense, it weighs a lot more on suspense thriller than it does on action. There is good action sequences in it, but they're really short and they're.
Yeah, the action sequences are freaking awesome. Like, not really even action sequences, but fighting scenes.
Yeah.
The fighting scenes are really cool, and they're original. Like, the way he fights isn't something they ripped off from someone. There's not like a shaky cam. They're really like, they're really precise moves and shit they does, and it's really cool to watch. But that's the problem right there. There's only a couple of those scenes. Like, it starts off, and you know, we got to tell the story, so they tell you the story, and that's okay. And you're just waiting for the badassness to start. And then there's one scene that kicks ass, and then it goes back to telling the story again. And really the problem with that is that I didn't give a crap about any of the other characters in this movie.
Yeah, they really did a bad job with character development.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it feels like you can tell it from a book. I mean, because honestly, there were some parts that were so slow, it felt like they were reading the books to you. You know,
yeah,
it felt
like
that
too
way.
much dialogue. A lot of it was, and it was like a noir, kind of like a 30s or 40s. Like, out of all the buildings and all the offices, you had to walk into mine. He's out there somewhere, Susan. Like, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then they would have these little things. I mean, it just took forever.
They lead up in the middle of the movie to this one scene where he's going to go after these certain guys, and you think, oh, this is going to be awesome. And you get there, and they have this out-of-place, really dumb Three Stooges feeling scene.
There's like slapstick comedy that went on for a second, but it was just inserted. It didn't even make sense. It just didn't flow at all. It just broke up everything. The immersion that you had is gone.
Yeah, it was going up and up and up, and when that happened, you were just kind of like,
You're kind of into what he's looking for. He's investigating. Then all of a sudden, you know, you're in it. You're wanting to see what's going on. Then all of a sudden, this like, you know, stupid clown stuff starts going on. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
It really took me out of it. And I didn't, even when he finished those guys off, I thought that was kind of cheesy the way it was.
And one thing I will say about, there are some scenes in this movie that are shot like, it's creepy. Like the very beginning of the movie when the guy's like picking his targets to snipe them, that is scary.
Yeah.
Like you hear him breathing and you see him, you know, you see the camera through the scope and he's picking out and it just looks random. It's, you know, a couple of years ago, those people that on the highway, the father and son that was killing people, that shit was scary. And then, like, there's another scene with one of the main bad guys. Like, he's telling his guys, like, if you want to survive, you gotta have to bite off your own fingers.
Yeah.
Like, shit like that.
And that's
I'm like, damn.
Werner Herzog's character, and he was creepy, and you saw the potential. Like, that's what this movie is. It's all about potential that doesn't quite reach it. But you see that scene with him, and you're like, he's really creepy. That sounds like a good bad guy. But then there ends up being several bad guys, and they never really, like, hone down any of their characters. They never carve out any of these characters, and if they do, you just don't really care about them. All you care about is Jack Reacher, and that's really enough to sustain the movie. Like,
Jack Reacher's badass. He's like, I mean, I want to be his friend. Like, there's a scene when he's in the booth, and the guy was there. He's getting ready to fight these 5 dudes. And he's like, all right, we're gonna fight in a second. He's like, but pay your ticket. And he's like, I'll pay my ticket later. He's like, no, you're gonna pay it now because you're not gonna be able to. I was like, I want to be your friend. It does get a little boring though after that. I mean, there are like great scenes and it's really boring. The great scenes are really boring, but it's still on average. Like, it flows well except for a few broken scenes. There's a scene where he's fell asleep during the movie. He said he looked like.
Let me preface this by saying I worked third shift last night. And I haven't been to sleep since, so I haven't slept in like 32 hours. So I only fell asleep for like 5 minutes. But
but his mouth was like slack jawed open, and he had this one little eye squinted. So he's like, I want to stick my finger. But that was nothing. That was like, I understand that, but there was a guy behind us too. We always give these little quick theater experiences. Dude behind us, like Mr. Giggles, was laughing at like everything. I'm talking about if he pulled out a knife. He's like,
someone would get shot, and he's like.
It was like the most annoying giggle you've ever heard in your life.
For like 12 people in the theater, and 6 of them were these people behind us, and this one guy just wouldn't stop. And it was so freaking annoying. And I snuck a soda pop into the theater.
Oh god, it's like a bomb.
I was so tired that I wasn't thinking straight, and I was like, I'm just gonna open it real fast so that nobody hears it. And I opened it. It was like the loudest, like it was like a bomb had went off in my hands. It was like.
Yeah, but it was funny because as soon as you did that, like it was like even the movie itself, everything just stopped. Yeah. There was silence in the theater. Like you could hear the creaking of chairs.
And I was pissed because I couldn't take a drink of it for like 8 minutes because I knew whoever saw me. Like it was that guy.
You're always scared of that. You always look. Well, that's like when you're buying tickets and you're sneaking. Like if you got a candy bar in your pocket, you always like look at the ticket guy when you're giving your money. You're like, you don't see things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. Overall, this movie, I'm gonna give it a 7.0.
I'm gonna give it a 7.02. It's got one of the coolest characters ever in it, and it just never reaches its potential.
What's your favorite Tom Cruise movie?
Yeah. What's the most badass character you've ever seen Tom Cruise play? I like that.
I would probably go with Ethan Hunt.
Dude, I'm honestly gonna say I love Ethan Hunt, but this I think Jack Reacher's perfect.
But you know what?
I love that character.
You know, we just didn't even think about it. Like literally, Jack Reacher is what Ethan Hunt would be if he had no rules. So that's the question. What's your favorite Tom Cruise badassness character? We'll see you next time.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie.